was around, and these was the hottest artists at that time. So things started moving real fast for me. I'm 16, I'm 17 years old. Tupac came home from jail when he went to death row. He did an album called Outlawz on Me. And when he did this album, Outlawz on Me, this was a successful album for him. This album sold, I think about, right now it could be up to 14, 15 million, but when it first came out that time, it sold 9 million records. I was on that album, I performed on about 6 songs on that album. So things started moving real fast. I'm out in Los Angeles, California. I had no curfew, I had no parents. The only person that we had in our life, because the rest of my family was in New Jersey, the only person that I could say we had in our life that was trying to keep us together was Tupac. He was the only one that was trying to keep the Outlawz out of trouble. He was the only one that was trying to keep us out of trouble, but at the same time, Tupac was only 23, 24 years old himself. So, like I said, things started moving fast, man. Clubbing started coming around, money started coming around, fame started coming around, to the point that this is what I was looking for. This is the life that I wanted to get away from New Jersey for. This is it. But eventually, these type of lifestyles and this thing come to an end. Nothing lasts forever. And Tupac, he got murdered in Las Vegas in 1996. But I remember right before Tupac got murdered, I remember in his music, he used to always talk about death. Tupac used to always talk about how he don't want to live anymore. He was always talking about death, how he want to die, how he see death around the corner. But I remember it was a time that Tupac bought a house in an area called Malibu, California. And we, the Outlawz, we was living in the house with him. And he bought this house, and this house was right on the beach. Malibu, California, this is a place where, you know, a lot of the big time actors and movie producers, they usually move to this area. This is the place that burned down a couple months ago in California. But Pac, he bought a house right on the beach. I'm talking about to the point when you're in the living room, you just see the waves from the ocean. And I remember he said, now that I have all this, he had a Rolls Royce, he had a Bentley. He said, now that I have this house, I'm living on the beach, I have these cars, I have these money. He said, you know what, I don't want to die anymore. He said he don't want to die anymore. And I remember I lived with Pac, and he was firm with wanting to die. His main conversations beside the music is, I want to die. I don't really want to live in this life anymore. I really want to go. He said, always talk about how he's unhappy. Even though he had all this money, you can imagine, and from the outside looking in and seeing he was happy, but he always talked about death, and he's not happy being in this world. But when he got to this point where he started getting a little bit of stuff from this dunya, from this world, he started feeling a little good where he wanted to cling on to this world. And he said, now that I have this, I don't want to leave. And a couple months later, unfortunately, Tupac got murdered in Las Vegas. And on the death of Tupac, them words hit my heart again, and I was able to recollect and remember the words that Tupac said when I was sitting in his living room. And being that when he got to the point of his life that he wanted to live, but he had no control over his death, that kind of spooked me, and it kind of put something in my heart. Even though at a young age I started wanting to think, and I started to ask myself, okay, man, we have no control over when we're going to die. So what about life after death? Even though I grew up, I had no religion. My mother and father was Muslim, but when they passed away at 3 years old, I was raised with my Christian grandparents. I was going to church, and my grandparents were taking me to church, but that was something that I felt that this is not the true way that you worship your Lord. This is not the true way to worship the creator of the heavens and the earth. From then I just said, well, I just believe in God, I have no religion. But I've always been a firm believer that a person can't live life the way you want to live your life, and when you drop dead, you're in your grave and that's it. I couldn't understand that, and I never could believe that would happen, that a person could live his life the way he want to live. He can go around, he can hurt innocent people, he can murder innocent people, he can sell drugs, he can rape women, he can do all this evil, but he have a good life in his life. He's still living in a mansion, he still has so much money, he might own businesses, and you mean to tell me when this individual dropped dead that this is it? He's not going to get accountable for his sins? I never was a believer. I never could believe that would happen. So after the death of Tupac, I started thinking a lot. And I started saying, man, that this is going to happen to me. And the way I'm living my life, I'm not comfortable with facing my Lord the way I'm living my life. Because like I said, I always believed that there was a God or there was a higher power. Right before the death of Tupac, I forgot to mention my grandmother who raised me, she passed away. And then 3 or 4 months after the murder of Tupac, Gaddafi, he got killed accidentally by a family member of mine, a cousin of mine. So this was death after death after death. And after the death of Gaddafi, my brother committed suicide. My older brother committed suicide. So I really started to dwell on death a lot and start saying, man, that this can happen to me. What about life after death? So I remember I used to just pray to God, oh God, if you have a true religion out there, but just guide me to your true religion. At the same time, the Outlawz, we moved on, we started doing music on our own, we started putting music out independent. Now there comes a time where we started independent is basically, you put your money, you put your albums out, you put your money behind your albums yourself, and you put it out yourself, you make more money, but you get less